god. Dude, whatever the critics are popping, smoking, shooting, drinking, whatever, I'm gonna need some of that in my life. Because they're on some heavy shit to think that Iron Fist is bad. It's great. It's really great. I don't know what they're talking about. This might be the single greatest Marvel Netflix series since Daredevil. Yeah. Yep, I'm gonna stick to that. It just is, and that's a fact. Because Iron Fist is great. Is it great though? Like, is it?
You're now watching the Mystical Green Beanie.
Hey, what is going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and welcome to my best of, worst of, spoiler-filled review for Iron Fist Season 1. Now, unlike the previous Netflix shows, I have very little context for this character. I've seen him in some stuff, I've read a bit of the Power Man Iron Fist comic from the all-new, all-different Marvel and Marvel Now 2.0, but I don't really know this character. So I more or less felt like one of my friends when we go watch superhero movies in the theaters, and that was kind of exciting, because this is more or less my introduction to Iron Fist as a character. But with all that said, let's get into the review, and as always, starting off with my positives, let's talk about the best of. And the first thing that I wanted to mention was the concept of infighting and the splintering of the hand due to a clash of ideals between Bakuto and Madame Gao, and how them being of two different generations affects their worldview, and how they each think the hand should be run. And I think that's really interesting because that's a real thing that happens in a lot of extremist groups, and I'm glad that was touched on in this show. The second thing that I really enjoyed was the fight between Danny and Zhao Shang. Now, apparently this is a major character in the comics. I don't know him, I just thought the fight was cool. But I also liked how he's potentially set up to be an ongoing threat for Danny in future seasons. So that was really appreciated. Finally, I rather enjoyed the first 6 episodes. Now, I won't lie, I do have some major problems with the show, but the first 6 episodes of this season were pretty strong in my opinion. But yeah guys, those were the things that really stood out to me, those were the things that I really appreciated. But with all that said, let's get into my negatives. Let's talk about the worst of. And starting this list off is the characterization of Danny Rand. He's written very inconsistently throughout the series. I mean, at first he's this Zen master who's always centered, but then out of nowhere he starts going crazy and he's given this character trait where he's constantly angry. Also, in the latter half of the season, Danny's written in a way that makes me question how he earned the title of the Iron Fist. He's impatient, he's brash, he runs headfirst into situations, and his rationale is easily clouded by his emotions. And again, I don't know that much about the character from the comics, but from what I've seen, he's not an emotionally unbalanced person like he is in the show. I mean, it almost feels like Danny spent maybe a year practicing in Kunlun, and the other 14 consisted of him furiously masturbating in a corner somewhere. So, maybe that's how we got the Iron Fist, I don't know. Another problem that I have with the show is that the first 3 episodes really could have been condensed into 2 episodes. Because in the beginning of the show, nobody believes that Danny is really who he says he is, and I absolutely hate that plot thread, because the show will reference events from the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this is a universe where not only within the span of 2 years, aliens invaded New York and Iron Man's pet robot decimated an entire Eastern European city, but Thor exists. Like, the Norse god Thor, and by default, all the other Norse gods are real. So, in a world where shit like this happens, you shouldn't resist the possibility of a man coming back from the dead, or if there's a monastery in the mountains that disappears and reappears every 15 years. And speaking of which, this isn't an issue that I have exclusively with this show, but with the Marvel Netflix series on the whole. because I'm not a fan of how these shows are a part of the MCU, but not really. Because aside from Luke Cage and Daredevil Season 1, the Netflix shows don't really seem to be affected all that much by the happenings of the MCU films. And that kind of makes me wonder what was even the point of making these shows a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the first place. Finally, this is a thing that really bummed me out. The fight choreography, generally speaking, was really bland. Because aside from that one fight between Danny and Zhao Shang, I don't really remember any of the other fights. And that sucks because Iron Fist is a character that's centered around martial arts. So why is it that Daredevil, which is a crime drama, has better fight choreography than Iron Fist? That blows my mind. And it's not even that the fight choreography is bad, it's just meh. And I was speaking with that other review dude about this yesterday, and he brought this to my attention. The fight choreography is good on its own, but compared to anything else, it's not exceptional. Because in a world where the Daredevil hallway scene exists, and the staircase scene from Daredevil Season 2 exists, and even the warehouse scene from Batman v Superman exists, this just pales in comparison. But yeah, at the end of the day, I thought the series was okay. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. For me, it's on par with Jessica Jones, because with the exception of Legion, it's better than all the other comic book shows on TV right now, but it's nowhere near as good as the other Marvel Netflix shows. And as I said before, this was more or less my introduction into the character of Iron Fist, and I'm kind of disappointed. Granted, I'm gonna go read some of the comics, because I don't want this to dictate how I view the character, but yeah, this was not my ideal introduction to Iron Fist. Anyways guys, those were my thoughts, but what about you? What did you think about Iron Fist Season 1? Did you like it? Did you think it was bad? Or are you somewhere in the middle and you think it's just alright? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button, share, support the channel, and if you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios, nachos, adios.